Hey everyone, it's Revised Rocket here, welcome to the channel. And today I'll be doing a 2023 November Paper 2 GCSE Edexcel, which is of course calculator, in under 30 minutes. If you enjoyed the last video, make sure to subscribe, like and turn on the notification bell, as of course I'll be posting these videos regularly and I want to make sure all of you get grade 9s in your GCSEs. Let's start. Expand and simplify. So first of all, let's expand this bracket. 6y minus 15 plus 7y plus 14, which is 13y minus 1. Done, that's it. So question 1, 13y minus 1. Next one, factorize fully. So let's bring out the greatest term that can go into both, which is 3x. And that's going to be 3x, 2x plus 5. Done. These videos are going to be quick, so I'll move at a fast pace. Make g the subject. So let's make g, we move 11 to the other side. So 3g equals f minus 11. G equals to f minus 11 over 3. And that's already 6 marks. Let's go. Karen is organising a party for a charity at Karen. She spends £100 on food, £120 on a hall, £80 on a DJ. Karen sells 54 tickets for the party. Each ticket costs £7.50. Work out percentage profit. Now, first of all, let's see the costs. So costs equal to 100 plus 120 plus 80, which is of course 300. Now let's see, of course, how much she sold. So sold equals to 54 times £7.50. We have calculators, 54 times 7.5, 405. Now, of course, our profit, what's that going to be? Well, our profit is going to be percentage profit as well. So, of course, we're going to do 405 minus 300 over 300 times 100. What's that going to give us? So, 405 minus 300 over 300 times 100, 35%. It's that easy. 4 marks, done. Andrew invests £4,500 in a savings account for 2 years. The account pays compound interest at a rate of 3.4% per year. Calculate how much Andrew has in the savings account at the end of year 2. Well, we have to convert this into a multiplier, which is going to be 1.034 4500 times by, well, compound interest is a power. So 1.034 squared. Put that in the calculator. Gives you 1.034 squared. 4811.202, and of course, because it's money, we'll just do to 2 decimal places, so 4811.20. Done. What's that, 2 marks? Let's go. Solve. So let's move this here. 6x, move this here, equals to 64, no, 6x equals to 52 plus 14 is of course 66. What am I doing? X equals 66 over 6, which is 11. 3 marks, done. Chris, Debbie and Errol share some money in the ratio 3:4:2. Debbie gets £120. Okay. Chris then gives some of his share to Debbie and some of his share to Errol. The money that Chris, Debbie and Errol each have is now in the ratio 2:5:3. How much money did Chris give to Errol? Well, let's see. So Chris to Debbie to Errol is 3:4:2 initially, right? So we know that 4 parts is £120. So 4 parts of £120, 1 part is 120 over 4, which is of course £30. So Chris has £90, 3 times 30. Errol has £60, and Debbie has £120. So the total is 90 plus 120 plus 60, which is £270 between them. Chris then gives some of his share to Debbie and some of his share to Errol. The money that Chris, Debbie and Errol each have now is in the ratio 2:5:3. So Chris to Debbie to Errol is 2:5:3. So what's that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 parts is 270. 1 part is 270 over 10, which is 27. Now, how much money did Chris give to Errol? So let's look at Errol now. Let's look at how much Errol has. Now, 3 times 27 is of course £81, right? So now Errol has £81. Well, before he had £60. So how much did Chris give to Errol? 81 minus 60, which is 21. 4 marks in the bag. Let's go. The bearing of port B from port A is 147. Work out the bearing of port A from port B. So, well, how could we actually do this? Well, we know that 147 plus 180 is, of course, going to give you like the bearing, right? Which is going to be 327. So 147 plus 180, yeah, 327. So 327. So next question now, number 7. The diagram shows an empty tank in the shape of a cylinder. The cylinder has a radius 15, we can see that, and a height 43, yep. The water flows into the tank at a rate of 0.47 litres per minute. Okay, litres, let's remember that. Calculate the number of minutes it will take to completely fill the tank. Give your answer correct to the nearest minute. Well, when we're talking about completely fill the tank, we're talking about volume. Now, the formula for a volume of a cylinder is pi r squared height. It is pi times 15 squared times by 43. Put that in the calculator, what do we get? 43 times 15 squared times pi. That gives us 9675 pi. However, that is centimeters cubed. And we know we want to get in liters. So to go from centimeters cubed to liters, we divide by 1,000. So 9675 pi over 1,000 is answer divided by 1000. 387 over 40 pi. Sorry, over 40 pi liters. Let's get rid of that. Liters, right? Now we know that it's 0.47 liters is 1 minute. So 387 over 40 pi liters is going to be. So to do this, we need to do 387 over 40 pi divided by 0.47 and multiply that by 1. So answer divided by 0.47 is 64. So to get from here to here, times by 64.7 minutes. Now it says to the nearest minute, so we round it up, which is 65 minutes. 4 marks, done. A number x is written correct to 2 significant figures. The result is 1.9. Calculate the error interval. So 2 significant figures, so let's go write this. So 1.9, 2.0, and of course we have 1.8. The 2 intervals within this is 1.85 and 1.95. So there's answers 1.85 and 1.95. Expand and simplify. So the way I'll do this, I'll do 2 brackets first and then the last bracket. So let's just do this first. X squared minus 2x plus 7x, so plus 5x, minus 14, multiplied by x plus 3. That gives us x cubed plus 3x squared plus 5x squared plus 15x minus 14x minus 42 is x cubed plus 8x squared plus x minus 42. There we go. How many marks? 3 marks. Plus 8x squared plus x minus 42. How is that 3 marks? Well, let's go. Hold on. Shakir has to complete 2 tests. He can either pass or fail each test. The probability that he'll pass the first test is 0.87. If he passes the first test, the probability that he'll pass the second test is 0.94. If he fails the first test, the probability that he'll pass the second test is 0.73. Complete the probability tree diagram. Now you know each of these are going to add up to 1. So this is going to be 1 subtract by 0.87, which is 0.13, of course. Now the probability that he'll pass the second test if he passed the first test is 0.94, which means that this is going to be, of course, 0.06. If he fails the first test, the probability that he'll pass the second test is 0.73. So the probability that he'll fail is going to be 0.27. Here's your marks. Work out the probability that Shakir passes at least one of the tests. So therefore, we can either pass and fail, or fail and pass, fail and pass. Well, because it's at least one, you can also pass both times, or pass and pass. So let's do this now. Pass and fail, 0.87 times by 0.06. Union means plus. Fail, 0.13 times by 0.73 plus 0.87 times by 0.94. But that's all in the calculator. 0.87 times 0.06 plus 0.13 times 0.73 plus 0.87 times 0.94. and I got 0.9649. 0.9649. We're moving at a pace here. 11. The graphs of y against x represent 4 different types of proportionality. Match each type of proportionality in the table to the correct graph. Well, y x squared, well, what's that going to be? Well, we know that's going to be d. Right. Y x, we know it's going to be a straight line, so this one here, a. 1 over x is going to be b, like this. So b, and of course, root x is going to be c. A is a point with coordinates 7, 13, b, minus 3, 21, c, 15, 23. M is the midpoint of AB, interesting. N is the midpoint between BC. Work out the distance between M and N. First, we need to find out the midpoint of AB. To work out the midpoint of AB, we do 7 plus minus 3 over 2, comma, 13 plus 21 over 2. Let's do that. So that's going to be 4 over 2, which is 2, comma, 21 plus 13 is 34 divided by 2 is 17. So this is the corner of M. We got that. Now, N is the midpoint of BC. So N, let's write that over here. N equals to, well, B, so minus 3 plus 15 over 2, comma, BC, so 21 plus 20 over 2. Now, what's that going to give us? So that's going to give us 6, and that's going to give us 44 to 22. Now, to work out the distance, we use our formula. So let's go to x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be square root x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. So let's do square root of x2, so 6 minus 2 squared plus y2, 22 minus 17 whole squared. Put that in the calculator. Square root 4 squared plus 5 squared is, of course, root 41, which is 6.4, because this is 1 decimal place. So number 13 now, prove algebraically that 0.0723 can be written as 241 over 3330. So let's start. So of course we're going to do x equal to 0.0723. We're going to have, of course, 10x. This is the same thing, by the way. 10x is going to be equal to 0.723, all these are recurring, 10, 100,000, 10,000. X is going to be 723.723. Therefore, we can assume that 9,990, sorry, 9,900. Yeah, it is 90. 9,990 x is going to be, of course, 723.723 subtract by 0.723, which means that's going to give us 723. X equal to 723 over 9900, which is 723 over 9900. 241 over 3300. And there we go, that's our answer. So, number 14, y is proportional to x squared. Y equals to 3 when x equals to 0.5. X is inversely proportional to w. X equals to 2 when w equals to 0.2. Find the value of y when w equals to 2. Let's start. So y is kx squared because it's directly proportional. When y is 3, k times x is 0.5, so 0.5 squared. So k is 3 over 0.5 squared. So k is 3 over 0.5 squared. So k is 12. Okay, put that k is 12. Now we know that x is inversely proportional to w. So x is k over w. Now, what does this mean? It means that find the value of when x equals to 2, w equals to 0.2. So x equals to 2. So we use another scalar here. Instead of calling this k, let's call this, for example, a. Okay. So when x equals to 2 is a over 0.2. So a is 0.4. Now we know that y is 12x squared. And we know that x equals to 0.4 over w. Now what we can do is we can just substitute x inside here. So y is 12 times 0.4 over w times by 0.4 over w. Let's just move this a bit here. So a is 0.4. So y is 12 times y, 0.4 squared is 0.16 over w squared. So y is 12 times 0.16. So 1.92 over w squared. Now we want to find y when w is 2. So y is 1.92 over 2 squared, which is of course 4. Put this in the calculator. We get 0.48. 5 marks. So part B now, the histogram below gives information about the times taken by 43 students to run a different race. Work out an estimate for the median of the times taken by these 43 students to run the race. Well, to work out the median, I need to find out the sum of the total frequencies, and I need to find out how many people there are in each of these, right? So to do that, I use my formula. Frequency density is frequency over class width. And I know that the sum of the frequencies are going to be 43. But I need to find the frequency of each individual block. So A, B, C, D, E. A is going to be 2. So let's call this 12. This is 16. This is 21, 22. And this is 26. So A is of course going to be 2 times 2 is 4. B is going to be 4 times 2 is 8. C is going to be 4 times 4 is 16. D is going to be 2 times 6.5, which is 13. I know that E is going to be 4 times 0.5, which is 2. And I know that if I add up all of these, it's going to give me 43. Now to find the median value, I have to do n plus 1 over 2, which is 43 plus 1 over 2, which is 22. So I have to find the 22nd person inside this. So to do that, I use linear interpolation. I go 12 here and then 10 inside here. So it's going to be 10 over 16 times by 4 plus 16. And let's see what that gives you. That gives you 18.5. And that's your final answer. So question number 16 now. ABCD is a trapezium. AD is parallel to BC. Calculate the area of triangle BCD. Give your answer to one decimal place. Now, the first thing I can do is I can fill out this angle. I know that angle is going to be ABCD is 180 minus 112 minus 42. Which is going to give me 180 minus 112 minus 42, which is 26 degrees. So this is 26 degrees. Now, to work out the area of BCD, which is this triangle here, I need to use half AB sine C. So let's write half AB sine C. Now, the side I'm going to work out is BD, because that's what's common between them both. And to do that, I'm going to use the sine rule. So BD over sine 112, which is the opposite angle, is 7.9 over sine 42. BD is 7.9 sine 112 over sine 42. And in my calculator, that gives me 7.9 sine 112 over sine 42, 10.95 centimeters. Now, I'm writing 10.95 here. It's actually 10.94667077. But I'm going to keep the answer button in my calculator because I'm going to round right at the end. So for now, let's write 10.95. Now, essentially, I need to work out the area. So the area is half AB sine C. Now, because I know it's parallel, I know that this angle here is going to be also equal to this angle here. Let's call this 42. Therefore, the area is going to be half times 10.95 times 15.3 times sine of 42. So half times answer, so I'm going to write answer in my calculator, times 15.3 times sine 42. And that gives me 56.0 to one decimal place. Nice, next question. Show that the equation x cubed plus 2x minus 6 equals 0 has a solution between 1 and 2. Now, if there's a solution, there's going to be a change in sign. I already know that. So first, let's sub x as 1. So let's just say 1 cubed plus 2, 1 minus 6, and of course 1 plus 2, which is 3, 3 minus 6 minus 3. So if it was 2, it would be 2 cubed plus 2, 2 minus 6. So it's going to be 8 plus 4, which is 12, minus 6, which is 6. Now, of course, I know that there is a solution between x is 1 and x equals to 2, as there is a change in sign. Perfect. Now, show that the equation x cubed plus 2x minus 6 is 0 can be rearranged to give this. Now, how do I do this? Well, to do this, let's move the 6 to the other side initially, because we can see 6 is a numerator. So x cubed plus 2x equals to 6. Factorize with x. X squared plus 2 is 6. So x is 6 over x squared plus 2. Easy marks. This is iteration now. So starting with x0 equals 1.45. Use the iteration formula. So this to twice. So use it twice to find an estimate for the solution and give your answer correct to 4 dp. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is let n equal to 0. So this is my first iteration. So x1 is 6 over. Now x0 is going to be 1.45 squared plus 2. Put that in the calculator. 6 over 1.45 squared plus 2. I'm just going to leave as a fraction. So 800 over 547. So that's x1. Now let n equal to 1. So my second iteration, my final one, x2 is 6 over 800 over 547 squared plus 2, because that's my x1. 6 over answer squared plus 2, and that gives me 1.44963497, 4 decimal places, which is 1.4496. Perfect. 1.4. Done. Number 18. ABCD is a quadrilateral. E, F, G, and H are the midpoints of A, B, B, C, C, D, and D, A. Okay, we can see that. AH is A, AE is B, okay, and ADG is C. Perfect. Prove using vectors that EFGH is a parallelogram. Well, what does a parallelogram actually mean? Well, if something is a parallelogram, it means that from EH, the distance from EH is equal to the distance of FG. Or the distance from H to G is the same as the distance from E to F. So let's start off now. Well, we know that EH, but we know that let's just label everything we have. So A to H is A, H to D is of course A as well. A to E is B, so B, B. D to G is C, C. Now, of course, we need to find, E to H. So to go from E to H, we're going to go minus B plus A. And, of course, for H to G, we need to go H to G as well. H to G is going to be A plus C. Now we need to find out BC. So BC, to go from B to C, we need to go from here to here, but we have to go all the way around. So that's going to be minus 2B plus 2A plus 2C. Now we know that E to F, right? Just remember, we want to prove that E to H equals to F to G. Or we can do, depending on what happens, we can do H to G equals to E to F. It literally does not matter at all. So we know that to go from E to F, E to F, so E to F, and F is a midpoint, right? So E to F means that we're going to go B plus, now half of BC. So that's going to be half of all of this. Instead of writing it all out, we can just do plus minus B plus A plus C, which is of course A plus C, if we cancel out. And essentially, now what we can see is that E to F equals to H to G equals to A plus C, and we can conclude that EFGH is a parallelogram. And there we go. That's it. The functions f and g are such that f of x is 2x plus 3 squared and g of x is 2x minus 1 squared. Find gf minus 3. Now the way I do this, let me just expand everything first. So f of x equals 2. Let's just do 2. And to be fair, we don't even need to do that. First, you can substitute minus 3 into f. So minus 3 into f means that f of minus 3 is 2 minus 3 plus 3 whole squared, which is essentially, let's simplify that, minus 6 plus 3 whole squared. Minus 6 plus 3 whole squared is 9. And now we can substitute 9 into g. So g of 9 is 2 lots of 9 minus 1 is 18 minus 1 is 17. Easy. Find g minus 1 of x. So we know that, let's just write g of x as y. So y equals to 2x minus 1. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can either make x the subject, or you can flip the sign and make y the subject. Me personally, I like to flip the sign. So x is 2y minus 1. X plus 1 is 2y. And therefore y is x plus 1 over 2. So your final answer is x plus 1 over 2. So number 20 now, we're nearly done with the paper. Let's get this done. So 14, so write this fraction in the form ax plus b over cx plus d, where a, b, c, and d are integers. Okay, so let's increase this size. So I'm going to start off with this square bracket. So it's going to be x plus 4 times by 2x plus 3 over. Now I can take out 2 here. X squared minus 3x minus 28. So I can rewrite this, I can factorize it as x plus 4 times by 2x plus 3 over 2 times by x minus 7 and then x plus 4, because two numbers that multiply to give me minus 28 is minus 7 and 4, and add to give me minus 3 is minus 7 minus 4. Now I can automatically see that two things cancel out. So it's this and this, so they both cancel out. So we're left with 2x plus 3 over 2 times by x minus 7. So now we're going to add that to our first fraction. So we have 14 over, now we can see that 3x minus 21 is the same thing as 3 times by x minus 7. And we're going to add that to 2x plus 3 over 2x minus 7. Now, the rule is that you can only add fractions if the bases are the same. Now, to get the same base, I'm going to have to times all of this by 1.5, because 2 times 1.5 is 3. 14 over 3 x minus 7 plus 3x plus 4.5 over 3 times x minus 7 equals to 3x plus 14 plus 4.5 is 18.5 over. Now I'm going to expand this because it's given it in that form, so it's 3x minus 21. Now I know that a, b, c, d have to be integers, and I know that 18.5 is non-integer, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So it's going to be 6x plus 37 over 6x minus 42, and that's going to be my final answer. Vicky has a collection of medals. The Venn diagram gives information about the number of medals in her collection, where the set is all medals, A is English medals, and B is gold medals. Vicky is going to take at random a medal from the collection. Given that the medal is gold, okay, so looking at the set B, the probability that the medal is English is 2 over 11, okay, so therefore I know that. Okay, let's just carry on. Work out the number of medals in Vicky's collection. Now I know that the total gold medals is x plus 5x minus 3, 6x minus 3. And I know that x over 6x minus 3, because it's going to be, this is going to be our gold, which is also English, and that's going to be x. So x over the total is going to be 2 over 11. And now we can just work out what x is, and then of course add it all up. So let's just cross multiply. So 11x is 12x minus 6. X equals to 6. So I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to move this here. Let's see the total now in terms of x. The total medals, I'm just right here, total M is 7x minus 11, not even using a calculator, plus x plus 5x minus 3 plus 34. Okay, now I'm going to use a calculator, just in case. So, okay, never mind, I'm not. 13x minus 14 plus 34 is, of course, going to be plus 20. Is 13, now I know x is going to be 6, I'm not going to use a calculator still. 13 times 6 is 78, plus 20 is going to be 98. So therefore our total number of medals is 98. And I think, yeah, there we have it. So that's the full paper 2 done, November 2023, paper 2 calculator. Even though most of the time I did not use a calculator, but still. I want to say thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening. Subscribe, like, turn on the notification bell, because I will be posting videos regularly. And if there's any specific papers or questions that you need help in, please just let me know. Put that down in the comments and I'll look forward to answer it. And thank you all.